If you feel a sense of deja vu or eternal recurrence, it's because in many ways we're back where we were in 2016 because Donald Trump specifically is back where he was in 2016. After losing 3 state elections in a row, he's trying to reclaim his status as a political outsider, the guy who comes down the escalator, to rile up the most noxious portions of his base who delivered him that fluke victory 6 years ago when he began his campaign like this.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists. And some, I assume, are good people. But I speak to border guards, and they tell us what we're getting.
God, he's aged, huh? Donald Trump knew exactly what he was doing there because he correctly surmised that a portion of the Republican base, a strong one, held these vile, reprehensible, racist views and were just waiting for someone to give them permission to express those views openly. In fact, Nick Fuentes, the white supremacist anti-Semite who Trump dined with last week, openly said exactly that.
Trump got up there and he didn't say, hi, we're going to bring the workers of the world unite. You know, black, Hispanic, and white workers for populism. Let's unionize DoorDash. Trump went up there and said, they're bringing drugs, crime, they're rapists. You know, he said, I'm calling for a shutdown of Muslims coming into America. You know, we're going to say Merry Christmas. He was like this close to saying the N-word. You know, like, that's what Americans want. That's what this guy talks like us. He's our hero.
There you go. That's what a big part of 2016 and Trump was about. It got really ugly, if you recall, that election for a lot of people, especially on social media, particularly for Jewish journalists, Trump critics, constantly being trolled on that platform by Nazis. But the conditions of 2016 worked for Trump, and so those are the conditions Trump is hoping to recreate, like when he associates with and refuses to condemn people like Nick Fuentes. And let's be clear about who Nick Fuentes is, someone who's not really worth our attention but for the fact that Donald Trump has raised his platform. This is a guy who's said some truly reprehensible things. He kind of makes a habit out of it. I mean, I want to play a couple of examples because in the coverage of this, we end up sort of ticking off or characterizing things he says, but that doesn't really do justice to how vile they are. So I'm going to play you this. Most infamous is a disgusting riff. We're going to play you. He uses a metaphor about Cookie Monster baking cookies to sort of just ask questions and cast doubt on the basics of the Holocaust. Now, you probably don't know the way that Holocaust denial works, but one of the ways that folks who are obsessed with the idea that the Holocaust didn't happen and was in fact invented by Jews to claim victimhood is all this sort of weird litigating of the math of it. So this is an existing thing in the long and disgusting tradition of Holocaust denial. So here he is, calling into question whether 6 million Jews were murdered during the Holocaust. Take a listen.
It doesn't really sound correct to me. Wait a second. It takes 1 hour to cook a batch of cookies, and you have 15 ovens, probably in 4 different kitchens, right? Doing 24 hours a day, every day for 5 years. How long would it take you to make 6 million? I don't know. It certainly wouldn't be 5 years, right? The math doesn't seem to add up there. The math doesn't quite seem to add up there. I don't think you'd result in 6 million.
Yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like. Fuentes has also repeatedly pushed gross anti-Semitic talking, conspiracy theories all the time about Jewish elites controlling American society. Here's another example.
I don't support women's rights. I don't support LGBT rights. I believe in race and gender essentialism. I'm Catholic. I'm a Catholic reactionary. I believe that organized Jewry is extremely influential in the United States and pushes America towards an open society, liberalism, internationalism for their own benefit.
That's it, right? All the tropes right there. Organized Jewry, pulling the puppet strings of American liberalism and tolerance for their own benefit. Down the line stuff. That, and again, I'm playing you 2 clips. We could sit here for an hour, okay? That's the kind of guy Trump met with. Because part of his base likes that stuff. The far-right personality, Milo Yiannopoulos, who was a big part of the 2016 campaign and then sort of went off and now he's back. He himself has been accused of associating with neo-Nazis. He was, he claims to have encouraged Kanye West to bring Fuentes to meet Trump last week. And he knew exactly, I suspect, what he was doing by forcing Fuentes into the national conversation, posting on social media, quote, "It's real. Everything you're feeling is real. It's 2015 again, and the best is yet to come." Here's one way it's not 2015 again. Trump is weak and he is a political loser. He has lost time and time again. And whatever hatred he brings to the national discourse as he desperately tries to claw his way back into power, it won't be the best.